there we go. We're at 12:01 on the dot. Let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We are Kuker-Ranken, and my name is Brady, and I have the pleasure of introducing Mack Kowalski, who will be talking about the Leica MyWorld system and the portal that everyone should have access to. So with that, Mack, let's go ahead and let it rip.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Brady, and thank you all for joining us. Today's presentation isn't going to be furls and really cool camera tricks like I like to do. It's going to be a basic program that is free to you guys. And as a customer, I utilized it almost every day. And when I switched over to the sales side, I was really surprised about how few customers know about it. So we thought it might be a good opportunity to present it to you guys, let you guys know what it's about. Again, it's free as long as you have an active CCP. You get access to all this great stuff that I'm going to show you, that we're going to show you. So let's go ahead and jump into it. If you haven't been in my presentations before, if you scan that QR code, it'll take you to a direct download for all my contact info. If you have any questions down the road, feel free to email, write, call. You can even send a letter if you want. All right. I'll give you one more second to go ahead and take a snap of that if you need it, and then we'll move on. All right. In the chat box, you will see two links. One of them is to MyWorld. You can directly follow that if you want to follow along. The second one we will cover shortly after we're finished with MyWorld. It's a new addition to the knowledge base that Leica is providing its customers. All right. On your screen right now, you see the welcome page for MyWorld. It takes a minute to sign up. You just sign up, they'll give you access. You can change your password as soon as you go in. One of the first things that you'll want to do if you are the head person for a company is ask them to set you up as an account administrator. We were actually in an old account of mine before I joined KR. It's from the company I was at. They were nice enough to let me access it again. So I'll show you the process of what it means to be an account administrator right now. So only the administrator has the account administration access, but in it, and excuse the block out, I didn't want to blast everybody's email address out there. You'll see a list of names for people in the company. You can see whether they have administrator rights. Right now, me and Mr. Myers are the administrators. Below that, you have, or between us, we have a person who's locked out of their account. You can make changes. You can add people, delete people. One of the cool things is, and we've all been there where we forgot a password, is you can then reset the password for them and let them know what their new password is. Very valuable tool. You don't have to request permission from Leica to get it changed, whatnot. It gives you a lot of control. You can also go in and we'll touch base on the learning later on, but you can assign classes through your administrator rights to new employees and make sure they go through the training that Leica offers. Very, very powerful tool here. Go ahead and play. Now here's where some of the tools here. You can also export as CSV, so right into Excel, keep track of it. All right, so we're going to zoom forward a little bit here. All right, so we have scrolled down into the My Products section of MyWorld. Here's a list of products that this company has. If you want to add a product, it's really simple. And it's the first step you really will do after you set yourself up as an administrator. All you have to do is put in a serial number or article number or equipment number. If serial number and article number or equipment number, if it's hardware. And if it's software, all you put in is your equipment ID number. Super simple. You put it in, it will show up on your list, and then you can start using the different tools that are for either your hardware or your software. You're going to see me fumble on trying to get out of this right now. All right. Once you're in the page, you can see all of your information about your instrument, including CCP, your EID, your serial number, your when everything expires. And at the very top of the page, if you see, if I can pause it real quick, you have your keys. So if you're doing a firmware update, you want to download your keys so that way you can actually access that firmware on your total station specifically. All right, on the next page is your firmware updates, as well as any extra software. Most of all of these softwares come with a trial period. So if there's one that interests you on this page, you can download it. A lot of them are 40 hours, but some of them are so many uses. You can download them directly into Captivate in this case, and you can play with them for a certain amount of time. And if you like them, then you can call one of us and purchase them. After that, you have your manuals. So any quick guide, manual, any paperwork that goes along with it, you can download directly from here, which is incredibly valuable because we've all been in that spot where we've lost the one that came in the case, and now we can access it anytime we want, just downloading it directly from MyWorld. And then you can go into tools. These are different things like drivers. You have installation guides. You have Leica Infrastructure and Building Link, which is another program that Leica offers. It's actually a free software plugin for Revit. And if you ever wonder what accessories you want with your total station or whatever tool you're looking at, it gives you a list of accessories. One of the things I want to go back and I forgot to mention earlier is on our very first part of the page here. And it's one of the things that originally brought me to MyWorld was, so when I purchase a product as a customer, I would bring it into MyWorld. And if you see here, there's names attached to them. So if Alex called me and said, hey, my tablet was messed up, I could just come to MyWorld, see this tablet, click on it, and then I'm into it. I know exactly which tablet, which serial number, what software's on it, whether it's updated. And then I could call KukerRanken and say, hey, this tablet's messed up, or I need a new CCP, or any number of things. It really cut down on the legwork for KukerRanken, and it really helped me out. As a matter of fact, I'm not always been the most organized person. We had a total station stolen from us, and the only reason I knew exactly what serial number it was is because of MyWorld. I found it incredibly valuable. You can also export the list of all of that information into a CSV Excel, and you can keep it in a spreadsheet separately. So there is those guys. We're going to touch on base on a couple more things. This is just two of the tools inside this free software. I keep on wanting to reiterate that it is free. So my downloads. This is a fast link to some of the things we saw earlier about the software. If you scroll down the list, everything that Leica sells, you can fastly find any downloads that are attached to those products, which is a great little tool that hasn't always been there, but is there now, and it's incredibly value add when you're in a hurry. All right, so I'm going to find out how I can exit this program here. So if I go into, sorry about that. So my learning, now this is actually the dealer version, but if you go to the My Learning tab, you have to do a separate sign up. There are tons and tons of classes. Each one of these are 2 hours or more or less. Most of them are around 2 hours, but there are a ton of them. And you can actually assign these to people, and you'll get it whether or not they pass or fail or need to retake it, or if they're actually doing it. Conversely, there is My Knowledge, and this doesn't take an additional sign up. Again, it's all free, but the My Learning, they track a little more, and they have another sign up for you to do. It's just another sign in. If you go to My Knowledge and type in anything you want, you will pull up just an absorbent amount of data that they have collected. And a lot of this is, issues from customers sent in, release notes, certifications, just anything that has to do with that keyword that you typed in that they have in their knowledge base, you can pull up from here. It's an incredible amount of knowledge that you have to filter through. And you can actually change the filters to be a little more specific right here. The knowledge base you have full access to. The learning you should own the products to have access to the learning about them. So if you have a TS16 listed, you will have access to all the Captivate software. If you have an RTC listed, you'll have the software for that, or the learning for that. And there, let me see. You can also track your, you can track any services that you have that you put in directly to Leica. And then they have SmartNet, My Equipment, a few other things that I'm not super familiar with, so I don't want to touch base on them too much. And then, so they have, additionally, outside of MyWorld, they have created a new, and it's the second link in the chat box down there. They have created a new knowledge base that not only has articles and links, and they're putting a lot of effort into it. And this is, if you follow that link, you don't need MyWorld at all. There's no sign in for it whatsoever. One of the cool things about it, and it's not fully up yet, is the discussions. So they want end users to get on and help other end users, a forum based, sort of like laser scanning forum or any of the other forums you might use. I can see this being a big value, and I can't wait to participate in it. I think it's going to be a great value add, because we all know we can learn as much from each other as we can from the experts. It is a lot like, I think they just announced the release of this to us last week or 2 weeks ago, and they've already put in 30 articles about it, and they're very well put together articles. That one might not be, but they're professionally put together articles. Now the forum is going to be a different story. It's going to be just a forum. And I've actually kind of zoomed through this a little bit, so I apologize about that. But as long as we're talking about well put together courses, let's go back to here. And if we look at, here's my required learning. So if you assign them to people, that will show up in their required, but they can also go back at any time and look at the courses that you've completed. You get badges for them. And this might just be my ego, but you can actually post these badges to LinkedIn and whatnot if you want. But they're very good courses. I take them quite often. This is just the first page of the ones that I've taken, but 2 hours, there's a quiz at the end. They're very well put together. I can't speak enough about how much value MyWorld brought to me as a customer, and is even bringing to me now as a part of the Leica distributor family. The fact that it's free and it has this many tools in it is, quite frankly, amazing. So that's MyWorld in a nutshell. If you want to set up your MyWorld account and you've come across some hurdles, if you want to be an administrator and you can't figure out how, feel free to reach out to us at KukerRanken. We will gladly help you along with that. It's actually pretty simple, but I know I had struggles, not so much on the MyWorld sign up, but when I went to the MyWorld learning, I had some struggles just because there wasn't a class like this out there for me to lean on and look at. So is there any questions? I know it's rather simple. Is there any questions about this?
Sure. So as of right now, Mac, I'm just waiting for a few things to show up in chat, but I do have a question. You said anybody is able to use MyWorld. Now, do you have to have Leica equipment currently, or is this something that would benefit customers who are looking to purchase equipment to kind of get familiar?
So you have to access the tools. You have to have an active CCP and obviously a piece of equipment. So the Access My Learning, if you have, say, a TS16, you have access to the Captivate stuff. But MyWorld itself, you will have access to whatever you put into it. Now, the other one I showed you, the forum-based one, there's no sign-in, you don't have to have any Leica. If you want to learn about Leica, you can go join and look at the forum or look at their articles. And so there's two routes to go. If you are a current customer, MyWorld is the way to go. If you're looking at becoming a customer, the other option is the way to go.
Got it. And then we also have another question coming through. Can you have the same equipment or hardware on multiple MyWorld accounts?
Yes, you can. It's one of the nice things that Kuker-Ranken does is when we provide a piece of equipment to you or sell you a piece of equipment, we put it into our account too. That way, if you don't put it into your account, there's always a record of it and we can track that you own it. But also multiple customers can put it in. Organizationally, I would recommend you becoming an administrator, and then everybody has access to your companies that you provide it to is a much more organized way of doing it. But I've been in the case where I had a peer of mine who had the exact same equipment on his MyWorld as mine. We were both working for the same company. It got a lot easier when we made an administrator and we could have access to everybody's is the way that goes.
Okay, perfect. Well, good to know. I
did see a question about who you would want to make an administrator. And that would be your probably, I hate to say it this way, the boss. Start there, and then he can decide if he wants, or he or she, they can decide if they want other people to be administrators. Like, so you saw on that one, both me and another guy were administrators on that one, and we could make them all administrators if we wanted to, which probably not the best option. Yes, Rob, with a trial version of software, you get access to the learning and everything else associated with that. Absolutely. Now, when that trial is over, some of those things expire because the CCP expires with that trial.
So I have limited access to a couple pieces.
Yeah, you have full access while the trial is going, and then when it's over, it's you don't have access to it. Now, if a CCP expires on a TS16, you still have access to every firmware update and every piece of information up to the point that it expired. And even a little bit past, they allow a little bit of leeway on that. But that is MyWorld in a nutshell.
So I've got one last question just to give everyone just another minute if they'd like to add any additional questions. But does it show last service dates on some of your equipment? Say you had a total station TS16 was sent in for repair. Does that show up? And if it does, who enters in that information? Is it up to the admin or is it up to Leica? So
there's a caveat. If you send it directly to Leica for the My Service part of it, it will show up in yours. But if you send it to a distributor and they send it to Leica, it will show up in the distributors, but not necessarily in yours because the distributor is the one that sent that information in. But inside the information, it will show you the last service and the last firmware that was up on it, on the information of it, but not on the service side of it, if that makes sense.
Got it.
As well as it will show you your last, if you require a blue certificate, it will not only show you, but keep a copy of your last blue certificate up by the keys. Mm-hmm. So it's a very valuable tool. If you're not utilizing it, I definitely recommend utilizing it. It's going to make your life easier. It's going to make my life easier. But it's an incredibly valuable tool for free. I can't emphasize that enough because there's not enough free things in this world.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm not showing any additional questions coming in, so we'll go ahead and start wrapping here. I did want to say thank you very much, Mack, for presenting today on the MyWorld. Very informative, an amazing tool. Like I said, that's an absolutely free tool that anybody's able to utilize. And so thank you again for presenting today. Thank you, everybody who is coming in. Just to let you know, we do this every single Wednesday. We have these lunch and learns at 12 p.m. Pacific time. They run usually about 20 minutes, 25 minutes or so, including some questions. But the next couple that we have set up is on March the 1st. We've got transferring your data quicker using the Leica Exchange. On March the 8th, we have choosing the right LiDAR sensor for you. On the March the 15th, we've got Mack back with MS CAD. And then on the 22nd of March, we've got Brian with Hemisphere. So if you've got any additional questions or any interest in any of these, make sure to visit our Eventbrite page or check out our KukerRanken social media on basically any platform. So with that, thank you very much, everybody. Really appreciate it. And Matt, wonderful job, and looking forward to the next one. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, guys.